Welcome back to the Snod Pod with Jon Snodgrass, your mortgage resource where we're talking real estate, mortgages and beyond. I've got Drew Lead here, realtor from Venture Real Estate, coming in to chat, just some residential real estate. Drew, thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me on, John.
Yeah.
Excited to be here.
All right. You're welcome. Well, I always like to just start, did you get into real estate right away? Did you go to school for it? Where did you start right out of school, and how'd you get into real estate?
Yeah, so I did not go to school for real estate.
Okay.
So I was very interested in real estate when I was in college, though. So I went to Michigan State. I'm from here originally, went to Michigan State, studied applied engineering, which is very similar to industrial engineering.
Okay.
Because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And then after school, I coached college tennis around the country. So I was all the way from California to North Carolina to Philadelphia.
Wow.
And then, came back here right before the pandemic started and was like just ready to jump all in on real estate. So That's what I did. That's like my background story, I guess.
Okay. Just curious, which were you doing D1 or can you mention the schools or?
Yeah, so I was at an academy in California, JMG Academy, which was where Jensen Brooksby trains, if you know his name, or he used to.
Okay.
Then I was at Iowa, North Carolina, and then I was at Wake Forest where we won a national championship, and then Drexel. So D1 programs, yeah.
And you played D1 in Michigan State?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Man, love it. Love it.
Yeah.
So you jump into real estate, and were you with Venture right away, right off the bat, or?
No, so I actually started, where it was you need no money, you can just start flipping houses, doing all that stuff, and it just didn't work.
You tried to start flipping houses right off the bat?
Yeah, I tried to do the wholesaling, flipping houses off market stuff, and it just didn't work.
Okay. Good learning experience?
Good learning experience was cold calling, trying to do all that stuff, and just wasn't happening, but I was still determined to be in real estate. So I went on Bigger Pockets. I don't know, have you heard of Bigger Pockets?
I've not heard of Bigger Pockets.
Okay, great resource for real estate investors, tons of podcasts on there, everything you could possibly need.
Okay.
But I went on Bigger Pockets, found somebody that was doing it in the area, reached out to him, see if I could tag along. He said yes. Wow. And that started the relationship there.
Okay.
And he was working at a management company servicing their clients.
Okay.
So that's where I got started, was actually working for the clients at the management company and just learning under him as an agent.
Okay.
And that's where I gathered, did all of my learning process to learn everything about houses.
Okay. And learning about just management of rental properties?
Yeah, I would say it was like a great learning experience for the whole, capturing a wide net, being a jack of all trades, master of none is, you see it from all different sides.
Crash course in it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a huge, I don't know if you've ever read Robert Greene or, 48 Laws of Power, Laws of Human Nature. So I'm a huge fan of his. I read his book Mastery, but his whole thing was, because he writes, from my understanding, to people in their 20s, even though I love his stuff.
Yeah.
But this is what you should do early on, find a mentor.
Yeah.
And it just triggered my, because I'm reading one of his books right now.
It worked well, actually. I picked up Mastery 2 days ago. So it's
the book? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, man, phenomenal read. Yeah. You're going to love it.
Yeah.
But just because it's hard to, become an expert. Mm-hmm. It takes, as Seth, what's his name? 10,000 hours to become an expert. I forget his name right now. But it accelerates that, to get to become an expert by getting a mentor early. And man, I wish I would have, learned that earlier. So kudos to you to.
Yeah. Huge. It's supercharged the process for sure, and just being able to bounce questions off somebody that knows more.
Yeah.
It's way more valuable than trying to look everything up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Right? Which you can do.
Yeah.
But, having somebody there that can answer specific questions is a game changer.
Right.
Yeah.
So you mentioned some investment properties. I want to do a second episode with you. So we'll maybe focus more on that one. But can you just tell me a little bit about some of the clients you're working with, maybe you start with like a first-time home buyer. What's that first meeting like? And maybe it's a multiple part question, because like when I started, it was just hey, you go out, you can kind of get what you want. You know, I want, 3 bathrooms. I want 4 bedrooms. I want this. I want that. I want a finished basement. And it's like you could probably find it back when I started 04, 05, but it's a little bit different market now so I guess what's that meeting like?
Yeah, it's interesting. So, typically for the first time I'm talking to somebody that's looking to be an owner occupant, we speak over the phone and kind of get a general idea of what they're looking for and kind of the non-negotiables, because pretty much every time there's going to be a constraint in some way or another. And, if no other constraints are there, price is going to be the constraint, or time. Right. Yeah. So like what I always tell those is never be in a rush. I think if you're in a rush in real estate, things typically aren't going to go your way, so you got to give yourself time. That's like the number one thing that I say. And then make sure that you have reasonable expectations. You're going to get stuff that you like, and there's going to be stuff that you probably don't like about all the houses, but you got to find what works best for you. And part of that process is seeing a bunch of houses. You know, I think too many people probably rush into something too quick, where, you probably should see 5 to 10 houses minimum to just get a feel for what's in the market. So you should start earlier than when you actually think you're ready to buy.
Yeah. And do you ever have people like, hey, maybe check out if you're looking at this price range? Because I find like people like, I want to live in Whitefish Bay. And you're like, okay, or, do you ever say like, hey, maybe look there, but at this price range, you might want to go here or...
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, so like, I think that's another constraint. If you really constrain yourself to one area, it's going to take longer, to find. That's just the reality. It's like, well, I want to be in this neighborhood. Well, how many houses are even going to come up, per year that are in that neighborhood? Then how many in your price point? Then how many are the right bedroom count? So it's like, just from a numbers perspective, the bigger your net is, the more likely you're going to find something that works for you. Right. So you got to be willing to give on something. But yeah, I definitely suggest having a wider net. Yeah.
What about expectation on when you find a house that you like? It's just so competitive out there. Are you having that conversation? Hey, you got to be ready.
Yeah.
You just want to.
So one big advantage that I've won out on a ton of deals on is being first to act. So it doesn't work all the time. It maybe works 1 out of 10 times. But if you can be first to act and put some time pressure on the listing agent, you can win deals, because you might be the agent, I'm the owner, and I might be 70 years old and a nervous owner.
Yeah.
And you're a great agent and you say, wait this weekend, wait to see what comes in.
Yeah.
But the client's like, hey, I've got a great offer here. Maybe nothing else comes in. So they accept it.
Sure.
Right. Because ultimately it's the seller's decision.
I like that. Yeah.
So, I think that's a big thing that, people don't value maybe enough is get in there quick. If you're ready to buy and you think it checks a lot of boxes, come in with a strong offer and put some time pressure on them.
So just curious, I love that idea. I've not heard that a lot. So I think it's, especially in this market, and I could see it working. What time constraint are you putting on? 12 hours?
Binding acceptance that night, that night. And then if they don't accept, then I can rewrite an offer, You
can do it tomorrow or Sunday
I'll rewrite it, So it's just, or maybe, I'll give away all my secrets, but, it's like maybe, you say, okay, I'm going to give you till Sunday. This is Friday. I'm going to give you till Sunday to accept my offer. But if you accept by tomorrow morning, I'll give you an additional $20,000. Wow. So you put that in the additional provisions, and then it's one of those, Robert Greene maybe style.
Sure. No, man, this is great, man. That's a really good idea.
Yeah. You just
I'm just curious because it's a really good idea. Like, is that something you came up with on your own, or did somebody else give you a tip, or maybe you don't want to answer?
Are any of our ideas our own, you know, or any of them our own? So no, but I'm sure I heard it in a YouTube video or something. Yeah. You know, and just copied and paste, you know? Yeah.
That's a great strategy.
Yeah.
To kind of just jump on to, I've really been loving your email newsletter.
Sure. Yeah.
And at first I was gonna say you're wise beyond your years. So
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Sure.
But what made you want to start that? I mean, it's just like free advice, and I love the podcasts that you're recommending. I haven't seen them all, but some of the stuff I like that Jay Shetty.
Oh yeah.
I'm a fan of his, and just, you know.
Yeah.
Working on yourself and get better at being, you know, good person type of deal, but
better version of yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, I think that's really ingrained in the real estate investing culture. I think so much of it is like, maybe it's because we have way too much free time on our hands. I don't know, but we're constantly like finding ways to improve your business, improve your life. And, you know, I think that's part of the coaching that attracted me to it. I love the mentorship of coaching. Yeah. So I think that's kind of like one of my ways to do it is through the newsletter. Yeah. I love doing it. Yeah. You know, sometimes it's probably a little bit too much for some people, but you know, it's kind of something that I enjoy to do.
No, and I appreciate it personally, just like because I'm always just trying to improve each day. And I brought this book, Atomic Habits.
Sure.
I read it recently, and I printed out one of yours.
Oh yeah.
Which it just made me like your kind of like goals each day, and because I've started to like, I slack sometimes, but like journaling.
Yeah.
Or what I took from him, what's his name? James Clear.
Yeah.
Was basically trying to plan out your day, or maybe on Sunday to take a couple minutes, plan out a couple things. And I just thought, like, when I printed yours out and I started reading all these, and I was just like, just such great advice.
Rules to live by.
Rules to live by.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? Is that like I'm thinking your sports, playing D1 tennis, as far as like, I don't know, work ethic or managing your day using tennis, and also obviously being a coach. And I've been to Drew University at paddle tennis, which we'll get into, but you've kind of got that natural coaching trait, if you will, which I imagine relates. There's a question in there somewhere. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, I think, you know, growing up, I've been, I guess for lack of a better word, attracted to somebody that has, you know, insights like that or quotes. You know, I think those have really, they stick with me.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a lot that, you know, just came from other people that, you know, I want as kind of like a reminder, right? As the rules to live by is kind of like my thought process with that. And then it kind of came to me, that title, when I was working with what do you call them? A virtual assistant, right? So sure. I kind of wanted like some rules for her, like to how to combat her day, or like if she had a problem, you know, or like here are your basic sets of rules. And that's where I kind of came up with the idea. And then I put it to like my life, I guess. Okay. You know, and just kind of came up with life rules. Yeah.
Do you have rules to live by that you're giving to like a first time home buyer client or like an investor client? Because I was thinking about that, and maybe you do, but
yeah. So I have a trade secrets document. So right. I send that out.
I'm gonna get that from you at some point.
Yeah, please do. But yeah, that's for owner, or for that's more geared towards investments. Okay. I do want to write one for owner occupants. Okay. You know, so I think things to look for, things to note.
Some of the things that you just talked about too, you know, the first point of action. Did I say that right?
Yep. Being first to act.
First to act.
Yeah.
Man, it's all good stuff. One other one, if it's okay to talk about this, but like you had written a couple weeks ago, how you had just off real estate here, but like I thought it was an interesting topic. Like you quit drinking.
Yeah, quit drinking.
And you just sounds like you're just feeling great. And I bring it up because like I try to do like I'm in a dry February right now.
How's that going?
It's, dude, like once you get past that first week, I feel great. It's kind of funny to say there is that kind of peer pressure. Like we'll be at a friend's house.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, here, do you want a glass of wine or beer? And I'm like, nah, I'm doing this dry.
Yeah.
And they're like, what?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, and I feel great.
Yeah.
And part of it is too, is that, well, do you have kids yet?
No.
No kids. So like, and I'm recently turned 40 and it's like, man, something just happened with my body that like, it's just harder to recover. And then when you got 2 kids, man, it just like ruins that whole next day. Yeah. And I'm like, man, I just feel like it's, I don't know, unfair to the kids too. Like, we want to go do this. Sure. Oh, man, I'm tired. Sure. So I guess I'll let you answer. Was there just anything behind it, or you just were trying to just?
Yeah. No, there wasn't anything like major, like, that I needed to be like, okay, I got to stop. This is like a big problem. I mean, I know during COVID, I was drinking a lot. Yeah. I was drinking way more, you know, and I started drinking when I was maybe 15, 16, pretty regularly. During college tennis, we would stop drinking for a semester, slow down, I would say. Yeah. Not stop. But, no, I mean, I think it was just like an over-reliance on alcohol to kind of fuel social interactions. Sure. Is what I would say, to not feel comfortable in a social interaction unless I was drinking. So maybe it started kind of as a challenge. Yeah. And then, I just think it's hard on your body. It's hard on your brain. It's, it's not the best thing for you, but I don't look down on anybody that drinks, you know, and I'm totally fine being in an environment with it.
Well, and there's so much more information now. Like I saw some statistic, and I know you're I don't know, 30s, early 30s?
33.
33, okay. So I don't know what you are. Are you Gen Z or Gen
I don't even
millennial?
know.
But like,
probably a millennial.
Okay, millennial. There's like some statistic out there that Gen Z is like 25, and I might be off, like percent don't drink. Yeah. And like I remember just thinking about, like, we're way off topic. Yeah. Whatever. It's all right. But like I've read Robert Mondavi's, the wine guy, and just like there was like this marketing push of, it's all good for your heart, and it's okay, don't worry about it. But now I listen to Andrew Huberman. He's one of the podcasts that I listen to. It's like, really, there's not really a good amount. Yeah. And we've been kind of, so it just seems like the younger generation, there's just brought up differently. Yeah. And there's certainly more information. There was no podcast. I wasn't listening to Andrew Huberman back then. It was just obviously, this is just what you do.
Yeah. You think that's influencing them?
I do. Oh yeah. I think, like, had I heard that growing up, that hey, your brain doesn't develop till 25. Yeah. Fully developed. You shouldn't do. Yeah. I don't know if that would have changed anything. Had rambunctious childhood as well. Yeah. But maybe it would have. That's just my thought. But anyway, I when I read your article, I just thought it was great, and I've thought about, like, I pushed it to 2 months last year. I did February, and I was like, man, I'm feeling great. Yeah. And I pushed it almost through March. So anyways, I've thought about going to like a year, but like, anyways.
I think it's all in moderation and what, suits your lifestyle. But I got sick the other day, just a cold, and felt like crap the next day. And I'm like, this kind of reminds me of a hangover. I don't need one of these.
I don't like this.
I don't like this at all. So.
Well, again, the content you're producing in your email, that's where I got it from, and so I'm glad you shared it. So.
Appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for reading.
All right, we got a little off topic. Let's close this one down.
Okay.
But recap real quick. You got some trade secrets. Yeah. Come work with Drew. He's gonna first to act. I love it. So real quick, if somebody wants to work with you, be it a home buyer or an investor, how do they get a hold of you? And then your blog or email?
The easiest way would be to go to my website, investwithdrew.com, and then it'll do one of those lighthouses that you can sign up for the newsletter, or you can click out of that. And then my contact information is all in there. So that's the easiest way.
All right. Drew Lead, Venture Real Estate. We'll come back, do quick investment, maybe some house hacking talking. But thanks
Awesome.
for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. This has been the Snod Pod with Jon Snodgrass, your mortgage resource. We're talking real estate, mortgages, and beyond. Thanks for watching.